Don't buy these popular fragrances, buy these Middle Eastern fragrances instead. You may have heard me say in a recent video that I actually want to explore Middle Eastern fragrances more. I feel like they're actually really popping off now. You're getting some really good value fragrances, some really beastly performing fragrances as well for a really good price. As well as the fact that actually I'm really impressed by a lot of Middle Eastern fragrances that are original creations that I've actually explored more and I think are going to help in this video here today. There are a lot of popular Western fragrances out there that I think a lot of people are getting bored with or realize they're not as great as people initially thought they were. As the market gets more competitive and Middle Eastern fragrances really are competing, you'll find that actually there are Middle Eastern fragrances that are just better. So today we have, I think, about 8 pairs today of fragrances, one Western fragrances, and then compared to a Middle Eastern fragrance, where I'm not actually going to be using any clones in this video. There's going to be original fragrances only in this video, as far as I know, just only because I think it's more interesting. Because of course, yes, we know Middle Eastern houses do a lot of interesting, good clones, but I think it'd be more interesting to teach you guys about the original creations and show you that actually a lot of the times it's really better when a Middle Eastern house kind of just focuses on being Middle Eastern, doing their style, doing their own thing. A lot of times they find they actually end up surpassing a lot of Western fragrances. So let me recommend these fragrances to you guys and you'll see what I mean if you try them out. Let's begin. YSL's Eau de Parfum, a really popular blue fragrance. It's sharp, aromatic, herbaceous. It has a masculine, athletic feel to it. I've discovered a fragrance through an unintended sample that's blown me away. That is Arabian Oud's Diwan. I was not expecting this sample. This actually came with a full bottle from another release that I bought of Arabian Oud, who are a really solid house. I'm actually really looking to explore this house more. So overall in this video, you're actually gonna see 3 fragrances listed from them. I think if you want original creations from a Middle Eastern house, these are the guys you need to be going ahead and checking out, guys. I'm actually considering going to their physical store in London to try them out properly, see all their stuff. A lot of really unintended, great discoveries I've made of this house recently. The one, to me, is a great contender against EDT. It has a great versatility to it. This is your signature fragrance that you can wear all year round, but it's still light, fresh, and musky. This is a great example of Middle Eastern cardamom perfumery mixed with a hint of ambroxan, but then it's also using a large amount of cashmeran, which is a great material in perfumery. I dabble around a little bit in perfumery materials, and cashmeran is actually one of my favorite materials to use. It is beautiful, light, fluffy, silky perfumery. It literally is like it's recreating that cashmere, smooth silk linen effect in a fragrance. This does it really nicely. If you want a really sexy, warm cardamom and cashmeran fragrance, this is unique, different to any Western house out there, and it lasts a long time as well, which is really impressive. That's the great thing about Middle Eastern fragrances. They like to really make sure to give you performance. I get 8 hours with a medium projection with this fragrance. Bleu de Chanel, I've got the Eau de Parfum here. Of course, Bleu de Chanel is another popular fragrance, versatile, a more warm amber blue fragrance compared to something like EDT. You wear this all year round as well. It's quite sexy and attractive and masculine, but instead go for, again, Arabian Oud's signature. If you find something like EDT too boring at this point, you go for something like Diwan, which is new and interesting and different. And if you find Bleu de Chanel not performing well enough, you go for something much stronger performing as a signature fragrance, like Arabian Oud's signature here. This has a very similar feel to Bleu de Chanel, but it's more like the Middle Eastern Bleu de Chanel. Not a clone at all. Remember, guys, I'm not going for clones in this video. This is its own creation and smells very Middle Eastern. I feel like this fragrance is actually more popular than I think, because I feel like I've smelled this before in the air in London. I feel like this is a really popping off fragrance, and I can see why. This is incredibly attractive, again, cardamom perfumery. Let's say you really love something like La Nuit de l'Homme and you like Bleu de Chanel, you wanted to mix them together, make them beast mode, make them more Middle Eastern as a fusion as well. This is kind of what signature is. It's woody, amber, cardamom perfumery that's very balanced but very sexy. It's warm, masculine, long lasting, around 12 hours with a medium to loud projection. This stuff is strong. I honestly don't think you need more than 3 sprays of this stuff, and it's very affordable for how good quality this is. Arabian Oud, I would say maybe it's probably in the realm of affordable niche actually, because this 50 ml, in fairness, this was an Eid discount that I got this on, so I got this for £72 for 50 ml, which just is a steal. I think it's usually like £100 for 50 ml. I think it's worth it. I think the quality is here in the house. So if you want that replacement to Bleu de Chanel, that's a really good performance. Go ahead and check this out, guys. This fragrance as well as Diwan, they both have very high ratings on Fragrantica for a reason. I can see why. And then I'll finish off with a third Arabian Oud suggestion. Instead of getting Louis Vuitton's Ombre Nomade, which I think is an overrated fragrance that's so overpriced for what it is. It's a very traditional rose and oud fragrance. It's way too expensive. Instead, go for Arabian Oud's Resala. This is a fragrance I got put onto by Michelle Curly Fragrance. Had a 2 ml sample. A really nice scent. It's not my style. I don't like very traditional rose and ouds. This is smoky rose oud incense, very similar to Ombre Nomade, but then they add a twist with chocolate in there. I think it's pretty much a very similar quality to Ombre Nomade. I don't think either one of them uses a large amount of real oud in them, but Ombre Nomade obviously has fantastic performance. So does Arabian Oud, but it smells more interesting, and it's around half the price of Ombre Nomade, or nearly half the price. So I think it's much better value for money. It's still sexy, beast mode, and has a more interesting twist in there. So that was my suggestion over Ombre Nomade. Jean-Paul Gaultier's Le Beau, Le Parfum. So this is your powdery pineapple coconut fragrance you can wear as a versatile signature pretty much all year round. I say go for Lattafa's Oud for Honor and Glory instead. This is a similar kind of vibe, not a clone at all. I don't even think this is a clone of anything. I think it was meant to be a clone of Tribeca by Bond No. 9, but I'm not seeing it from the note breakdown personally. But this is a powdery pineapple fragrance that's versatile, but more sexy in my opinion. It has interesting notes of creme brulee in here, has cinnamon in here, it's powdery, woody. It sounds like it'll be too intense, gourmand, too sweet, but actually I think this is very nicely balanced. I think you can wear this all year round, and in the summertime I'd say it's more of an evening scent in the summertime, otherwise it's a day and night scent. Much more affordable than Le Beau Le Parfum, probably half the price at least, and still a very good performer, around 8 hours of media projection. It's not a masculine fragrance, I say it's a unisex scent, but I think men could easily rock this. I think it's incredible value for the money. And I would easily reach for this fragrance over Le Beau Le Parfum if I had to choose between the two. Creed Aventus, the king of overrated fragrances in 2024 at least. Actually, I think the DNA is legendary, in fairness. Let's give him props. But you know, a lot of houses, especially Middle Eastern houses, have tried to make their own clones or their own takes on the Aventus DNA. Fruity, citrus, pineapple, woody, smokiness. And I think this house does a great replacement, which simply put is going to be Nishane's Hacivat. Better quality, more consistent batches, better longevity, more intense pineapple with a slight maturity from an oak moss note in here. If you want the more intense pineapple, juicy fragrance compared to something like Aventus, you want something that lasts 14 hours instead of, worrying if your bottle's going to last 46 hours like my bottle of Creed Aventus does, then Hacivat does it for you. It's a Turkish house, Nishane. They're very good, and Hacivat is one of the most popular fragrances for a reason. It's not a clone of Aventus. It's sort of like their take, I think. I feel like they may have been inspired by Aventus, but I think it's definitely its own fragrance overall. Paco Rabanne's original Invictus. This is a classic fragrance from 2013 that revolutionized the industry and actually really got me into fragrances when I was getting into the game. When I was like sniffing fragrances non-stop in like 2017, I really liked this fragrance. It was so appealing. It was so different to me back then. And, of course, things change, guys. Your tastes change over time. But hey, I think, again, 2013 is a long time away now, and obviously there's been a lot of bubblegum scents, but this Middle Eastern fragrance has always been a strong contender against this. And of course I'm talking about Rasasi Hawas. This fragrance got so much hype online from a lot of reviewers, as well as myself. I really hyped this on TikTok, I think, for example. I think everyone on TikTok since then has really just been hyping this up. Everyone now just keeps hyping Rasasi Hawas. Stronger bubblegum aquatic perfumery. Don't get this wrong, guys. This is not a clone of Aqua 2016 by Invictus. Invictus 2016 came out a year after this fragrance, so it wouldn't make sense. This is its own fragrance. Stronger bubblegum Middle Eastern perfumery with a cinnamon and plum twist in here as well. A hint of those notes. But overall, fresh, aquatic, beast mode, loud projection with 12 hours longevity. I can't really see why you choose the original Invictus when this exists. And if you want a slightly weaker performance, let's say 10 hours of media projecting, version of Hawas that's a bit more smoothly blended, has a bit more of a powderiness from the cinnamon, then go for the Hawas Ice flanker, also very solid. This is a great fragrance, great for getting compliments as well. Dior's Fahrenheit Eau de Toilette. Now this is a controversial one on this list because actually I really love this fragrance. I think this is great, but I'm going to give this alternative because a lot of people don't like this fragrance because they don't like how kind of this has this fiery petroleum effect that Fahrenheit's known for. A lot of people don't like that. So this is a more affordable alternative that can still give you a fresh aromatic leather scent. And that is Rasasi Shuhrah. Fresh, crisp leather and oud in here, mixed with this hint of greenness from a tomato leaf note, which is actually surprisingly done nicely. It's really, I say, a strong contender against Fahrenheit. I will say the quality is slightly less than Fahrenheit, but still a very high quality fragrance for the price. It definitely smells like it's much higher quality than its price tag. You'd be shocked that this fragrance is a £20 fragrance, even just looking at the packaging. It's got fantastic performance, around 12 hours of medium to loud projection. This is a beastly fragrance. Some people say this is really polarizing online. I was kind of scared to get this for a long time because I thought this would smell weird, but actually no, it's surprisingly classy, aromatic, elegant, a little bit mature as well. I feel like the same kind of guy who would wear Fahrenheit would wear something like this. This is sort of like a Middle Eastern, fresh, crisp leather scent. Has its own Middle Eastern vibe to it. I would say it smells a little bit smoky, a little bit ashy, but still very smooth and elegant at the same time. So I feel like it's a really interesting creative scent that is very much its own thing. It's a bit powdery, a little bit soapy. A really interesting, clean, crisp leather fragrance that, hey, let's say, you kind of want that kind of style, but you don't want to spend so much money like in Fahrenheit. You can try something like Rasasi Shuhrah. See online the reviews, see if it's for you. I don't think this is a safe blind buy necessarily, but at the same time, I think this is a really cool scent. This could really be a fantastic signature for the right guy. And finally, Mancera's Red Tobacco, one of the most popular fragrances from the Mancera brand. Beastly, strong, spicy oud, vanilla, and tobacco. I think it's a little bit annoying as a fragrance. I think it's a cool creation. I still love it, but I think it's a little bit tricky to wear just because of how strong it is. It's like 24 hours long lasting. This is a great alternative, more affordable, but probably more easy to wear as well. Alexandria Fragrances, Hafez 1984. I'm going to say this is a Middle Eastern fragrance because it was created by an Egyptian perfumer. I think this is the more easy to wear, more easy to love version or alternative to red tobacco. It's also spicy, has tobacco as a big player here. It's a sharp, ashy tobacco similar to red tobacco as well, but it goes more into a smooth direction more quickly. It doesn't have oud in here. It's more boozy as well, which makes it quite interesting, more sexy in my opinion. This is one of my most complimented fragrances. It is still beastly, but it's a little bit more toned down. It's 12 hours with a medium to loud projection, 2 sprays of this stuff, and it goes into the entire room. Every nook and cranny of the room is filled with this stuff. It's strong. So this stuff, I think you can get a 30 ml for like £35, something like that. Easily worth the money. You don't need more than 30 ml. Go ahead, try Hafez 1984 and say that Omar put you on to this fragrance. And that concludes this video, guys. What are your thoughts on this concept that some popular Western fragrances are actually being outdone and outshone or outshined by these Middle Eastern fragrances, especially the original creations? Do you agree or disagree? And do you have your examples of popular Western fragrances that you think it can be replaced by a Middle Eastern scent? Let us know in the comments down below, guys. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to check out our previous video on Middle Eastern fragrances, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.